Let's go out to Nicole. Back to Florida. What's up, Nicole?
Hi, how are you?
Partying. What are you up to?
Oh, nothing. Just hanging out with my 5-month-old here.
Woo!
Yeah, it's the good life.
The good life. Well played. Well played. What's up?
Okay, so my question is, how do my husband and I best raise our sons to not latch on to OCD tendencies when I've been diagnosed with OCD and I also have anxiety?
Welcome to the gang, dude.
Yeah, right?
Welcome to the gang.
It's a party, isn't it?
What a fun club to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how old are your kids? You have 5-month-old and what else?
I got 5-month-old and an almost 2-year-old. And I've been noticing with the 2-year-old that he is already... So my OCD it's been called religiosity or scrupulosity.
Sweet.
So deals much more with in my thoughts and my speech rather than organizing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hold on. When you get really, really, really tired,
yeah.
What's the physical manifestation?
Oftentimes it's guilt. All of it is focused around guilt. And I think I grew up in a pretty, fairly religious Mennonite house. And so I think it's based around worrying that I'm going to sin and go to hell. That's the, I don't think about that.
That's kind of a big consequence, right?
Well, yeah, it is, rather life-changing.
Yeah, some people don't want to get in car wrecks, right? So they don't drive or they don't want to leave their house. You just don't want to be tortured for eternity, right?
Exactly.
Fair.
Exactly.
Fair to your poor, sweet little body trying to absorb all that.
Yeah. So it's guilt, a lot of guilt and fear of judgment.
Okay, let me ask you a scary thing.
Yeah.
What does that guilt get you? Because it gives you something. What does it give you?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a way to just not deal with what I'm actually feeling.
Ta-da! Look at you, dude. Have you been to counseling before?
Oh, 4 different counselors.
All right, good. Yeah, well played. So you've put some work in already, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good way for your brain to distract you from reality. So what's the reality you need distracted from?
I don't know if in that case...
That you're beautiful? That you're a great wife? That you're a fun friend? That you're a good mom? Because you don't feel comfortable when I say those things, do you?
Not entirely.
I can feel it on the phone, man. I can feel it on you. And I'm not even looking at you. Why can't you hear that?
I can hear it. I just think it's hard for me to say out loud to others. I feel like it's immodest.
There you go. And so do you realize that your core sensor is that this whole thing, that this whole body that you inhabit is wrong? That it's broken? You have to, your body is distracting you from you. And that is a recipe for hell on earth.
Mm.
And I'm sorry that your other counselors didn't tell you that. Do me a favor. Put your hand, open up your hand and put it just below your neck on your chest.
Okay.
Say the words out loud. I love this girl.
I love this girl.
Okay. Was that easy to do? Or was that hard? Or are you just performing
awkward
for the show?
It was awkward.
I want you to do that 10 times a day in front of the mirror. Here's what you have to make peace with. You have to make peace with you. And I know you called about your daughter. We'll get to your daughter, son. We'll get to your kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I live this life that you're talking about. And it's when I realized that my body was trying to protect me from what was going on. And it was sending me signals. And so OCD wasn't a thing to run from. It wasn't a thing to be terrified from. And by the way, I have to say it up front. Mine's not debilitating. Mine's frustrating and annoying, but it's not debilitating.
Mine's not either.
I don't wash my hands till I bleed or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
but I do have to make a bunch of laps around the house in the evening to make sure the doors are locked, and I do count, I do blink, and I got all the stuff. It's fine. Here's the deal. It's my body trying to get my attention. Almost always. Okay? That's number one. So I don't want you to give up on Nicole. It is not immodest. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, it is honoring the person God created to tell the truth about yourself. And if you're beautiful and you're a good mom and you're a great wife, not perfect, none of us are, it's dishonest to not say that, to not live into that. Okay? And I know that takes work, especially when you've been told by everybody you know and love and care about that that's wrong. And that will get you towards your worst fear, which is burning in hell for eternity, right? That's number one. Number two, I'm going to be careful about, because I don't want to put my kids' stuff out there too much. But I will say, I sat down with one of my kids just about a year ago. And here was the conversation I had. I have a very special brain. And my brain pays very close attention to certain things, and it is very good at reading a room. And because it's good at reading a room, I can make people feel comfortable and give them some peace. I can also make people feel very uncomfortable because when I'm not paying attention, right? And I told one of my kids, you have that same special brain. And it's a gift, and it's just something that makes us different, and we have to work through some things that other people don't have to work through. And that phrase, special brain, because one of my kids was counting a lot and asked my wife to turn the radio down because they were trying to blink between every drum beat, and they couldn't keep up. And my wife just was like, oh, good. My husband created another one of him, right? And at the same time, I would submit that it's been a superpower. It's really frustrating to work with me sometimes, right? And I think it can be fun too, right? So all that to say is this, that phrase, special brain, and the phrase, I have it too, and the phrase, and so we have some extra work to do, those are your 3 magic points. Okay?
Okay.
Number one, there is a genetic and a neurological basis for OCD, period. It just is. And genes are most often expressed environmentally. Something in the world that they're growing up in sets them off, like a light switch, right? And so, if you have parents with OCD, you have parents with ADHD, you're probably going to have kids with ADHD, or you're not probably, you're going to be statistically more likely to. One, because there's a genetic component, and two, you've created a household that has chaos in it, right? And that's your body's response to it. So, the second thing is you're going to let your kid know you're not alone. I'm with you. And there's something about social norming, especially with kids, letting them know you're not crazy. You're just like me. And right now, you don't believe it, but you're the most important person in the whole wide world to this little kid. And in a weird way, they get to be like mommy. And the third thing is it's a context, not an excuse. The world will not bend to us. So when I need to check the locks 3 times before I leave my house, or 5 times, or however many times I need to do it, I got to get up earlier because my work starts at 8 o'clock. Right? The world doesn't bend to me. You can ask Kelly. She does not bend when I'm late, right? So all I have to say is you're going to communicate to your kid, this isn't a free pass on the world.
Right.
You got some extra work to do. But
Okay.
I don't want you, and this is going to be hard, I don't want you trying to fix her.
Him,
okay?
Okay, well, I have a couple questions.
Bring him.
Okay, well, he's only 2, so at what point do I have that conversation with him? What's an age appropriate?
What behaviors is he already exhibiting?
Okay, well, that was my other question. I'm a worrier, so I'm constantly like, oh, he's dying of cancer, or oh, and so I'm obviously going to be like, oh, he has OCD already. Look at that. So I don't know if I'm over concerned or if it's valid.
Yes. Yes.
So like he'll do stuff like closing the doors, and none of these things are every time. It's not like every time he sees a door open, he has to close it. But for someone his age, it feels a little peculiar to me. Like he'll close doors.
Have you ever been around 2-year-olds before?
A little bit, not a ton.
Okay, you don't really know what peculiar is. Your kid's. I'd be willing to bet your kid's great.
Oh no, he is great. I know he's great. He's fantastic. I just don't know if the behavior is. I don't know if normal is a word for a 2-year-old.
It's
I don't
not.
think there is a normal.
I mean, there's some way outside of the bell curve stuff, and I also think as a culture we've gotten so obsessed with these norming things that we've made our kids who are special in and of themselves. Like every kid has like a thing.
Right.
Right.
Well, and he'll push our chairs in when we're done with dinner, and he will like put his toys away, which I'm not complaining about.
That is not. Like, that's not a pathology. That's a good kid.
It's fantastic, but like some people see it and they're like, "Did you tell him to do that?"
Nicole, don't put that into the world. It doesn't need to be there.
All right.
You're a good mom. You're raising a good, healthy kid. And let me say this. Here's a trap I don't want you to fall in. Please, please, please don't Google diagnose your kid. Okay? Don't. You're going to make yourself crazy, and you're going to give that burden to your kid to carry. It's not fair. If you have some legitimate concerns about your kid's psychiatric well-being or their pediatric well-being, great. Every parent does. That's what trained medical professionals are for. Do not make a diagnosis about your kid. Okay? And in fact, you may want to go get re-diagnosed with OCD and see if that still even holds true.
Yeah. Well, so my question is when he does stuff like this, like pushing chairs and cleaning his toys up, like doing stuff like that, I love to encourage him to do that. But I guess I'm wondering, am I encouraging an OCD tendency? Or should I just
Nicole,
be like,
he's cleaning up after himself. That's not OCD.
Yeah, no, I know.
He's pushing in chairs because it's fun. He's accomplishing things. He's moving his body. He's pushing up against resistance, and it's moving under his weight. It feels good.
Okay.
He's picking up his toys, probably because he saw his OCD mom picking up everything in her life too. Like there's not what you're telling me. Not one single thing.
Okay.
If he was in bed screaming his lungs out because there was a stuffed animal out of place and it was chaotic and snot coming out of his nose until he got up and moved the arm just right and then got back into bed, then I would say you probably need to go talk to somebody. Like he's clearly projecting something out. But again, he's freaking 2. He's 2. Sounds like you got a lovely little kid who's cleaning up. There's just moms all over America listening to this going, what? Cleans up his toys. That's awesome. My son, I don't know how this happened. My son will walk in and be like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed, so I'll feel good tomorrow. I don't know where he got that from. But he doesn't need to go see somebody. It's just amazing behavior that I'm really want to encourage. I was like, way to go, man. I'm glad you honor your body better than your dad does, because your dad's like, I'm tired. I bet I could drink some coffee and stay up later. Whatever. I think your kids are good. I think the work that needs to be done here, Nicole, let's start with Nicole. And I think it would be time to go get reevaluated, okay? And sit down with a psychologist or sit down with a counselor and say, I'm ready to confront my OCD head on. And there's some behavioral techniques, there's some therapeutic techniques that are showing incredible efficacy. There's even some medication that's showing some incredible efficacy. But I think it's time to tackle it head on. And what we're going to create is some peace in your house. I'm going to send you Building a Non-Anxious Life too. Oftentimes, especially with thought OCD and anxiety really commingle a lot. And it takes a pretty sophisticated practitioner to parse them apart. But I'm going to send you a copy of this book too, because I want you to check it out. You and your husband can read it, and I think it might be good to work through. Because I think backing out 30,000 feet and handling some of these peripheral things might be a gift to you in the long haul, and maybe turn some of these alarms down. Whew. Again, if your kid does some things that really, truly worry you, or as importantly, a couple of moms in your circle that you trust that say, hey, is this normal behavior? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Please take your kid to go see a psychiatrist or go see a child counselor or a doctor ASAP. ASAP. But if your kid's cleaning up his toys, pushing the chair in, good for him. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I'll say it again. You're a good mom, Nicole. You're a good mom.